All right, so it sounds like the county's moving ahead. Seems a little bit more than chump change. And the judge said, do the math. It leaves about 175 million possibly for a new arena, but still this is a much larger project. How do you feel about what the county's doing moving forward and how it fits into a larger picture of funding the arena?
Yeah, we've had a wonderful, prosperous, beneficial relationship with the county for decades, also with the rodeo. And the structure that was created in the 90s to make sure that that partnership was and is very successful is still there today. And I think this is a great first step to extend that structure with the venue tax that gets funded by visitors coming to San Antonio and coming to Bexar County. And the dollar figures are still to be determined on the project cost and who's going to contribute what to ensure that not only a new arena is successful in our urban core, but to make sure that the existing facility is really successful. So we're in it for mutual benefit, and we have a history that shows that can be done in a great way.
The biggest question that we see from our viewers and readers is how much is the team going to contribute to this, more than $1 billion project estimated cost? Can you give us any kind of ballpark on how much your organization is prepared to pay to build a private arena, that's going to be combined likely with some public funds?
Well, the Spurs have always invested in the partnership. It's called a partnership for a reason. The public-private partnership where there's public money and private money, that private money comes from the Spurs. And so that structure historically has worked really well, where the public puts in some money from visitor taxes and the Spurs put in money. The issue that we have right now on maybe frustration or lack of clarity is the project cost has not been completed. And so we need to finish that. We need to work together with all the stakeholders, the rodeo, UTSA, where the land is, the city, the county, our advisors to look at, hey, what's the project going to cost? And then we can figure out, hey, what's the best way to ensure that that partnership going forward is just as successful as it has been in the past. I know that's a long way to say I don't know, but we're going to work together with our partners to figure out what our investment is. And what I would say is we're ready to invest. As you just saw, or hopefully the community saw, we just put over $100 million into a new performance campus in San Antonio, and we've been dedicated to the building of the Frost Bank Center, to the renovation of the Frost Bank Center. We've put a significant investment in those, and we're absolutely going to do the same for this project.
When do you anticipate putting forward a number publicly?
Yeah, I think in the next 60 days is a really important time for all of us to ensure that we understand really the detail of all the funding mechanisms and the overall project cost, and some of the I would say, over and above aspects of the project, like the Frost Bank Center and what the rodeo needs, like the surrounding area of the urban core project that we're focused on. I think that's what is still to be determined, but we have about 18 months of work ahead of us, so it's not like we're starting from scratch. We just have to really dig in and get into the details and the fine points to make sure that we have a world-class arena that our community deserves and can enhance the Bexar County and San Antonio, but also make sure that it's done the right way with a conservative budget.
The last time...
Stephanie, any questions?
Yeah, Judge Sakai has said that he wants the Spurs to be part of the plan for redeveloping the east side, that his support is contingent on that. What role would the Spurs have in helping to redevelop that area around
well, that's our home right now, and it's been great to us. And so we absolutely want to make sure San Antonio is a diverse, broad, amazing city. It's also a big city from a geographic standpoint, and so we want to make sure that there's mutual benefit. And so our conversations with Derek, with the rodeo, at CAB, with the rodeo, with East Side constituents, we want to be engaging, and we want to be collaborative, and we want to make sure that whatever next phase in the journey for each community that's part of this project is successful.
What happens when that lease ends with the Spurs, though? With the lease at the Frost Bank Center, what happens when that lease ends? You said you're committed to making sure that the Frost Bank Center also benefits from Project Marble. So why wasn't that money invested into the Frost Bank Center and surrounding neighborhoods to begin with, since that arena already exists and you are all playing there?
Yeah, what we think is that the Frost Bank Center has been an amazing home for us. With the next phase of that, I think the rodeo has an amazing vision for that, and we want to help with that. We want to help with whatever next phase of the journey on the east side of the Frost Bank Center is that's beneficial for the rodeo, that's beneficial for the community, and beneficial for the Spurs. And so we don't see it as an either-or conversation. We think that there's abundance in the community, and it's a growing community, and there's entertainment and opportunities for all kinds of our constituents and population here, and we think that the Frost Bank Center can play a huge role in that, and also an urban core entertainment district.
This project, Project Marvel, in its wider sense, but generally when people think of that, they're thinking of the arena. It hasn't polled particularly well. You've heard from Cops Metro people today who have repeatedly said that we shouldn't be spending public dollars on an arena. The last time around when the county helped fund the arena, it was largely public money. So how much do you think is appropriate to come from public dollars this time as a term in terms of percentage? And what's your sales pitch to voters who, it sounds like, are very skeptical of this?
I want to be clear about one thing, is that the funding mechanisms that are proposed and have been used in the past structurally are dedicated to venues. And they come from outsider tax. They come from when tourists come to Bexar County and rent a hotel or rent a car. And so they're predominantly not they are not being a burden on San Antonio residents or Bexar County residents.
No,
and so that funding structure is set in the structure that has worked and has been mutually beneficial for now 25 years. And other communities in Texas, it's been very beneficial as well. And so I think that structure and continuing that structure is a very viable pathway for mutual benefit.
But that's one of 5 or more possible streams. And also, while it is, as you mentioned, a tax on tourists, the hotels, and the rentals, it is still public money. And if it's being spent on arena, it's not being spent on something else, such as redeveloping portions of the Riverwalk, which has also been done. So again, what is your wish to voters? Because wherever the money's coming from, these are still going to be public dollars, and there are other city funds, PFC, the TERS, public dollars. So what is your pitch on what voters are going to get?
The structure that's been in place for 25 years for the Frost Bank Center allowed for the Spurs to punch above our weight. Look at the other teams that have won 5 championships in the NBA. The Lakers, the Bulls, the Boston Celtics. Is there a common theme of those? They're not in the bottom size of markets. We're the 26th largest market in the NBA. We're one of only 4 other teams that have the same ownership since this whole family's been involved. And so for us to enable the future decades of success like we've had for 25 years, there has to be a collaborative partnership. There just has to happen.
I don't want to keep on bringing up
Sure.
things, but everybody who lives near the Frost Bank Center, whenever that was built, they were promised development, they were promised economic opportunity. They never saw that, and they have a pretty bad taste. All they've seen is traffic, cones, and some vandalism. So, how can you promise that those issues aren't just going to be moved downtown?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And to be clear, the headquarters, we also have Holt Cat and Holt Group. That's where our family operates, and we're on the southeast side of San Antonio. So we love that part of town. That's where our heritage is. We've been in business for 92 years. We employ 1,200 people that go to work there. So that community is really important to us. And I think we have a wonderful opportunity right now to work with a collaborative group of stakeholders to ensure that this next phase of the Spurs journey and the next phase of the community's journey is of utmost mutual benefit.
Peter, we get a lot of questions from readers about what's going to happen if a new arena isn't built, particularly when it comes to Austin. You wrote a letter a couple years ago in which you said we're staying here. That was before a lot of these arena discussions. Can you address that? If a new arena is not built, could the team move to Austin? What happens?
I think that to be very clear, there's no Spurs without San Antonio, and there's no San Antonio without the Spurs. And so our family, our community, our leadership, the Spurs, we believe in abundance, and we know that this project is going to be transformative, and we know that it's going to be of really high positive impact to our community and to our urban core. It'll increase accessibility, it'll increase option, the economic development will be huge, and so the Spurs need this and want this to be successful, and we truly believe that our fans, our friends, the people that we live and work and go to school with are going to support this wonderful vision.
And if they go to town?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all.
Come on, but
Thank you. We'll wrap. Appreciate it.